Yaddle Chattle! How? Yaddle Chattle! It's a Star Wars podcast, baby, and it is live on a Friday, June 28th, 2024. Well, live to me. I'm live. That's me, Darth David. Hello! Davey Mac, Eastside Dave, whatever you want to call me for this particular series. I am known as Darth David, Daddy. And we're going to break down all of the Acolyte episode 5. Big episode. Huge episode. Signifying only 3 episodes left of the Acolyte. And a lot of shit went down. And good news. It was 1,000 times better than episodes 3 and 4. Bad news, there was still some goofy shit. So I don't know if they're going to have enough cool stuff to pull this series out of the bad category. But we'll get into all of it. There were good things here. Yaddle Chattle, we always be honest here, okay? Darth David, I've made my entire career on being honest. I don't bullshit ya. I'll never bullshit ya. I gots to tell you the truth. Whether we're talking the sports, whether we're talking the professional wrestling, whether we're talking pop culture, whether we are talking Star Wars. We had some good shit in episode 5, and we had some terrible stuff. We're going to get into all of it. See, that's what I would like to do, is nuanced reviews. We don't hate here. But God forbid sometimes you do give criticisms of Star Wars and you get the, you're a hater. And I think a lot of people are officially sick and tired of that insincere, disingenuous bullshit. Okay? People are allowed to have some issues with things. They could say, this isn't very good. And that's just the way the world works. Opinions are opinions. And just because someone might have an opinion that, hey, I don't really like this character or this plot development or this show, if people have that opinion, it doesn't mean that they hate or that they have an agenda. You're going to get a very nuanced review here from Yaddle Chattle about the Acolyte episode 5. We're going to bring the passion, we're going to bring the energy, and that's what we're going to do. But we are going to start with a big shout out to Rebel Force Radio. They played audio of Yaddle Chattle on Rebel Force Radio. Rebel Force Radio, the number 1 Star Wars podcast in the world. And Yaddle Chattle, I have heard that we have nearly cracked the top 1,000. We're sitting at 1,003. We're the 1,003rd most popular Star Wars podcast on the internet. So we're, fingers crossed, we might get into the top 1,000 in a week or two. But as for Rebel Force Radio, they're the number 1 guys. Jimmy Mack, Jason Swank, they played audio. If you want to go check it out, it was like 30 minutes into the most recent episode, June 22nd. It was called What Makes Star Wars Work. That's the Rebel Force Radio episode, about a half an hour in or so. What Makes Star Wars Work? Jimmy Mack and Jason Swank played the audio. We got to thank them. Like I said, I've been listening to Rebel Force Radio forever. And how Yaddle Chattle started was we got Jared and I, Jedi Jared, were doing a different show. We were doing the Eastside Dave show, my crazy-ass late-night talk show. He was the producer. I'm the star. Okay, focus today. Focus. And when we would drive up to New York, we're both from Jersey, but we work a lot in New York City. And when we would drive up to New York on the commute, it was always Star Wars discussions and debates and disagreements and all this kind of fucking shit. And we decided finally, why don't we just do it? But we would usually put on Rebel Force Radio. We would be listening, and then they would start a conversation or straight up dispute between Jared and myself, where Jedi Jared and myself would be yelling at each other about Star Wars for the rest of the commute up into New York City there. So we finally put it together, and that's wonderful. If you're wondering where Jedi Jared is, he is one with the Force, ladies and gentlemen. No, he had a baby. And it was kind of, he decided to basically pull a Yord and just decided, you know what, I'm going to check out. And I'll tell you one thing about episode 5. We're going to get into all of it. But I like the creative decision of killing off some folks. Holy shit. Anyway, Rebel Force Radio, we got to say thank you. And if you're not subscribed to them, go subscribe. You know that they're a great show. Will you stop it already? Anyway, RFR always does a great job. So let's get into the Acolyte. Episode 5. Now, when we last left the Acolyte in episode 4, the bad guy had come down. He floated down there. And, you know, we had the little mask on and whatnot with the red lightsaber. And then that was it. Credits. We begin episode 5 with none of those people but OSHA in a field waking up. Didn't like the beginning there. Gotta be honest. Okay, it's a small nitpick. A fucking beginning's not gonna ruin the goddamn show for me. But I'm just saying, you had the cliffhanger, right? When we do the big cliffhanger, here's the fucking bad guy with 8 million, you know, and he's gonna kill all these goddamn Jedis, right? That's the cliffhanger in episode 4. Let's start right there in episode 5. I gotta be honest, it took me a few bearings. I was confused as to why OSHA was even there by herself. Like, I don't know. I had gotten confused. So I didn't like how they began. It was, she was confused. She was disoriented. I think that made the audience disoriented. I felt like OSHA. I was like, what the hell is happening? It was very hazy. And the next thing you know, there's all the lightsaber duels. She sees one of the Jedis that gets killed. And next thing you know, we're off and running. The Kylo Ren shit. And here's one thing I am going to double down on. The Jedi are weak as shit. Wow. This is the worst class of Jedi I ever saw. And why I have a little bit of a creative issue with I have a few creative issues with the Acolyte. But this was your chance to have some seriously cool new Jedi. Do some Jedi that are fucking cool. Again, it comes back to wrestling. If you're going to have a cool new bad guy, then invent cool new good guys for the cool new bad guy to kill. That builds him, and also we're all getting cool new people. The Jedi, I mean, we got that one guy with the beard. They killed him very quickly. There was a lady in there. She's dead. Didn't he kind of shish kebabbed them both, right? He just had the lightsaber out and he floated them onto his lightsaber, start stacking them up. I'll tell you one thing. You ever are you ever walking home to your apartment in Queens, New York, Astoria, and you get that Greek shish kebab with the little bread? Oh, God, that's good. I got to tell you, I started getting hungry watching The Acolyte. All of a sudden, I was thinking, I bet you put a little fucking, squeeze a little lemon on that Jedi shish kebab. That shit will taste fantastic. And I'm not even kidding. I'm very hungry right now. Okay? I should have had lunch before doing this episode of Yaddle Chattle. That's my apologies to you. See? That's not your fault. I apologize. But I'm very hungry. And quite frankly, a Jedi shish kebab just sounds yummy. Anyway, the Jedi's so weak. So weak. And we're going to have to stand by that. This episode, better than episode 3 and 4. But at the same time, a lot of the issues that I've had with the first 4 episodes were a lot of weak characters, a lot of weak Jedi, a lot of nonsensical stuff, a lot of illogical behavior, a lot of contradictory behavior. So at the end of the day, this was the weakest group of Jedi we've ever seen. It really was. You know, I'm sorry. They got picked off by the new Kylo Ren guy fucking within 2 seconds. Most of them. OSHA uses a stun gun on Kamir. I'll call him Kamir because we found out that that's how he was revealed. But Osha uses the stun gun on the Sith, Kylo Khmer Ren, whatever you want to call him, and doesn't work at all. Doesn't work at all? The stun gun doesn't work at all? At all. I mean, I know he was wearing armor and shit, but I don't know. What is the deal with Disney Star Wars in things that worked perfectly forever suddenly don't work anymore? I think of now the stun gun and the lightsabers going into people's chests and everyone surviving, everyone living. Now we're going to add the stun gun. I mean, he didn't even, move. I mean, Osha shoots Khmer with the stun gun. He's just like, hello, why did you do that, Osha? I don't know why he has a British accent. He doesn't. And I apologize to you. The show sometimes makes me crazy. So I apologize. I didn't like it. I didn't like how he just fucking ignores stun guns now. Everyone ignores everything now. They should redo the goddamn Return of the Jedi and have the Sarlacc pit eat people in half and those people all survive. I don't know. It bothers me a little bit. May goes to Kelnaka's apartment. She's still there. All that shit has been going on. And since episode 4, May's still in the goddamn Wookiee's apartment. Kelnaka's apartment, for Christ's sakes. And it was very messy. I mean, Kelnaka, maybe you got to think about getting a roommate or at least some sort of, droid that picks up. Okay? Pick up after yourself. There was shit all over the place. I'll tell you, my mommy, Beanie Mac, she would not put up with how fucking sloppy Kelnaka kept his room. Okay? No. When we kept our room that sloppy, we'd lose a poster. My mom said, I'll take your Empire Strikes poster down if you don't get this room, ship tip-top. Oh, okay. Now, May is still in Kelnaka's place. Okay, I don't know. It seems like a whole lot of shit's been going on. And May's just still kind of, like, what's that? Wouldn't she be hearing some of this shit? Excuse me. So, we finally get, I like when they use the lightsaber as a boomerang now. Like, we've seen people throw lightsabers. We saw Darth Vader throw a lightsaber at Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. Remember when he's up there? A lightsaber, you could throw it. And it's probably going to cut some shit. But what kind of fucking lightsaber was that come here? He makes it float. He throws it. It goes all the way. It just magically goes through a forest, chops down trees. It's right about to hit Osha or May. At this point, I don't even fucking remember which one is which. And then Saul hits it. And the goddamn boomerang saber comes all the way perfectly back to Khmer. No, man. What kind of shit? Was there a little remote control in the lightsaber? Was some kid flying it like a drone? Come on, man. Don't be shitting me. I guess some of the stuff is when the physics of Star Wars gets a little wacky, it makes the stuff look goofy. I'm just saying. I don't give a shit about canon or, people are, there's explosions in space. I mean, people get mad at, there's no explosions in space, but look at the Death Star, it blew up and shit like that. I don't even know if there's explosions in space or not. How the hell am I going to know? I've never been to space. But what we're talking about with Star Wars physics is just stuff that, we've seen what lightsabers can do. We've seen lightsabers in action. And yeah, it's cool to expand and do different shit with a lightsaber, I suppose. But, that it almost felt like the lightsaber had a mind of its own. It was like this old, the lightsaber's a person. One of these days, they're going to have a lightsaber droid. Like, they will have a lightsaber that walks around and talks. I'm predicting it right now. Anyway, that's what this thing felt like. Basil is the little tracker. He kept popping up all over this episode. Why the fuck is he there? I got to tell you, if I'm one of these Jedi, if I'm Saul, I'm barbecuing that little piece of shit. First of all, he looks tasty too. See, I'm still hungry. I should have never brought up the goddamn, shish kebab or whatever the fuck it's called. By the way, here's a little joke for you. You can take this to, the next time you go to a family reunion or something and, gather everyone around and tell them I have the best joke of all time. Ready? What's the proper name for a shish kebab? Shishka Robert. Wow! Shish kebab. Shishka Robert. Proper. You can have that. You can have that. Eddie Murphy, Adam Sandler, you can have that for Chris Rock, your next comedy special on Netflix. You can have that. Oh, Darth David loves to bring it, baby. Loves to bring. Okay. Kamir and Saul finally had a, meetup. They finally go head to head. We finally get to hear a little dialogue. We're going to get some answers. Saul's kind of questioning Kamir. Has not revealed himself. So he's questioning the Sith Lord character. And the guy in the mask, Kamir, the guy in the mask says, you don't remember me. And if I was Saul, I'd be like, how could I remember you? You have a fucking mask on! So that's a pretty stupid thing to say. I might remember you if you take off the fucking zipper helmet. After the guy in the mask says that, Saul says, I sense something familiar. I sense something familiar. Again, Saul, out of breath the entire episode. I really need someone to look into Saul and make sure he's got his asthma medication, his inhaler or whatnot. I'm not kidding. This isn't even a joke. I'm worried about the guy. He is always out of breath. I sense something familiar. Okay. You all right, buddy? Can somebody get Saul some water here? Maybe a fan? Jesus. Then finally, half the episode has gone by and all this shit's taking place. And then finally May wants to come out of Kalnaka's apartment. Now, remember what she was doing in Kalnaka's apartment in the first place. At the end of episode 4, she said she had a change of heart. She was going to turn herself in to Kalnaka and the Jedi. She felt bad for what she had done. With May learning that Osha was still alive, it changed everything. So now we're in episode 5, and and May comes out, and she gets fucking kicked in the face by Jackie, the David Bowie alien girl, the Labyrinth Jedi. Why didn't May just said, whoa, I was turning myself in. You don't need to be fighting me. I went into Kalnaka's apartment to turn myself in and reveal as much information as I can about this dark side user. Why was the Jackie fucking May shit even a fight? That is what people are talking about when they say bad writing. I've seen others online say, oh, everyone's just throwing out bad writing, the cliche, as if they know. No, that is a specific example of how many times these characters contradict each other. Characters constantly contradicting each other is shitty writing. It is. It is. And it's not just one. It's all of them. They're constantly saying they're going to do something. 2 seconds later, they do the exact opposite. Then 2 seconds later, they do the exact opposite of that. May had a change of heart at the end of episode 4. She was done with the fucking dark side, right? Why is she back in now in episode 5? Why is she fighting with a Jedi? Why is she not saying, Jackie, I can find this masked guy and help you kill him? I hate the fucking wishy-washy bullshit. And you cannot tell me that that is intentional. It's not. Because even if it's intentional, it doesn't make sense. So when people say the bad writing, that's the bad writing. That's a specific fucking example. First of all, we don't need Osha and May anymore. One of these things that I just realized, fuck the twins. God, we're not having another episode where I have a fucking meltdown. Because I want Yaddle Chattle to be contrived. Do you know how much I like doing a Yaddle Chattle show? Where I go, oh my God, that fucking season finale of The Mandalorian. Holy shit, that was amazing. And then how about this? And then how about that? And then how about the other thing? I did warn you with Jedi Jared now being one with the Force and this entire show having to be fucking hosted by a Sith. Darth David's probably, the show might seem a little extra psychotic. That's not my fault. Why I have an issue with this writing is because it's wasting everyone's time. When you have May, she's about to fucking become good, and now she's fighting Jecki in episode 5. What is the point of all of this? You cannot tell me this is intentional. It doesn't help mystery at all. It really feels like, shit, we don't know what to do. Fuck it. Come on, man. So, Osha and May are becoming bust characters. And why I said we don't need them is, we only need one. We didn't need these two. As twins, we needed Osha or May. They seem like the same character. They're both insanely wishy-washy. No backbone, complete indecision just comes out of these two. They should have just made Osha and May one fucking character. Honestly, we don't need two of them. It's fucking confusing as shit, and they both suck at this point. Weirdly enough, the two who were kind of interesting in episodes 1 and 2, Osha and May, I'm telling you, it's why I said it at the time of episode 3. Episode 3 killed the mystery of Osha and May. They did. They killed those characters. Episode 3 was such unbelievable shit. I kind of don't want to see Osha and May now. I certainly don't want to see both. I'm sort of like, I'll put up with one of them. But they're the exact same fucking characters. First of all, I've got zero like for Osha. Because it seems like every time May, who's supposed to be the bad guy, right? May the bad guy, Osha the good guy, and it seems like May keeps wanting to say, Osha, let's be friends. And Osha, the good one, is like, no, fuck you. Come on, man. It's not working. That is the example of the bad writing. God damn it, the lightsaber shit was cool. I got no issues. But these fucking storylines suck. At one point, Saul says something like, let me see your face. Kamir, or the guy in the mask, says, no, I'm not going to take off my helmet because then all of a sudden you'll be able to read my mind. What? Helmets? Helmets can block the Jedi from reading people's minds now? Wait, the Jedi can affect people with the Force if they have a helmet. I guess I'll tell Obi-Wan Kenobi that, Ben, you might as well confess to the stormtroopers in episode 4 and tell those guys, hey, guys, these are the droids you're looking for. We're guilty. Arrest me and the Skywalker kid. These aren't the droids you're looking for. I believe the stormtroopers were wearing helmets, right? Didn't Rey do the Jedi mind trick to a stormtrooper in episode 7? I never heard of helmets blocking the Jedi. I never heard of a fucking helmet. Because, you know why? It's the Force. It's an energy field that binds the galaxy together. It penetrates everything. God damn it. God damn it! Saul says to the man in the mask, what master hides his face from his pupil? And the guy in the mask says, you tell me. Hey, look, Who gave you the goddamn fucking prediction that Saul's going to turn out to be a bad guy? Here's the deal. I'll give you the prediction right now. Saul, Kamir, Osha, and May all are 50%. If you want to do it like this, it's like 50% Jedi and 50% Sith. Or they're all almost perfectly balanced in half with light side and dark side. And Saul, understanding that maybe he has a lot of Sith in his blood and in his background, became a Jedi just to squash that, just to not be an evil person. And Kamir's like, come on, man, that ain't who you is. You ain't a fucking Jedi, Saul. You a goddamn Sith. You Sith Saul. You Sith Saul. And I think that's what's happening. I think Osha and May are also having the same sort of thing. I tell you, the one thing, Yord, he didn't know what the fuck was going on with the Jedi. We go back to Yord, and he's like, he's trained in the Jedi arts, but he does his shit, it's very unpredictable. I don't know who he is. I'm sorry, would the Jedi not at least have an understanding of mythology? That, like, wouldn't they have known, like, hey, at one point there were Sith? We might not have seen a Sith around for 1,000 years, but at one point there's Sith. I'm pretty sure part of being in the Jedi Temple is an education and learning about the ways of the Force, the Jedi, and perhaps dark side users such as the Sith. It's like, it was such like a foreign concept for Yord. I don't know what this guy is. Really, Yord? He's just a bad guy Jedi. Sith. How come no one knows about this? It's like they've never seen a dark side user in their entire life. Which makes no sense, because earlier in the series, they were acting like cops, trying to basically take all of the Force-sensitive children. Well, why would they be doing that unless they knew that some of the Force-sensitive children could turn out to be bad guys and dark side users? See what I'm saying? These details, they don't add up. Jackie arrests May. And then Jackie, after she arrests May, here comes Kamir. Here's the other thing I didn't understand. I had to look this shit up. I'm not going to lie to you. Cortosis. Does anyone know what that fucking shit is? Apparently, it's an armor that when you touch it, it breaks the fucking lightsaber. So that's why we kept seeing lightsabers break. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? They buy these goddamn lightsabers at a secondhand store? Some fucking Jedi thrift shop? Like, we saw the fucking lightsabers break no less than 3 times. I counted. What the fuck? Why do they keep going back to that? And if they do, can you explain? I'm sorry. I didn't read a fucking Cortosis Star Wars comic book from 1998. I apologize. Could you just fucking put a goddamn fucking sentence in there? Oh no. He must be wearing Cortosis because it broke the lightsaber. See, it takes a second to have... Oh, now I'm coughing. It takes a second to have one of your fucking dopey-ass weak Jedi just to be like, that's Cortosis, careful. It can disable any lightsaber. That's all you had to do. Just use a fucking line of dialogue and explain it to people. Have any of the writers worked in Hollywood before? Has any... fuck Star Wars. Are these all first-time writers? I gotta know. I gots to know. I know Leslie Headland isn't a first-time writer, but she's not writing every episode. Holy fuck. Kamir, he's about to kill May, but then Saul intervenes, but then Kamir takes on Jackie, kills her. Oh, well, first he kills Yord. Then he kills Jackie. So, at the end of the day, I was right, wasn't I, about Yord? The most unworthy Jedi ever. And no, it would have been more interesting had they done it the way I wanted them to do it. which was you have Yord sort of like Oppum from Saving Private Ryan, where he's holding a Jedi and he's behind a tree, and the fucking Darth, Kylo Ren guy is killing all these Jedis, and he's just holding his lightsaber behind a tree, and he's scared. Like, he's scared to come out. He realizes right then and there, this shit's way too intense for me. I'm not a Jedi. I'm unworthy. Isn't that more interesting? Or is it just, Yord's like, okay, I'll take you on, and then he takes the mask off, and he goes, you! And he's like, surprised? And then Kamir just instantly breaks his neck. And he's dead. He broke his fucking neck. Jackie got the 3 lightsaber holes in the body. She's dead. But at the end of the day, Yord was truly the weakest fucking Jedi we've ever encountered. Congratulations, Yord. That's, wow. Yord Horde, right? Yord Horde forever. Yord Horde. Holy fuck. You know who doesn't get, like, groups of fans? Shitty fucking characters, okay? Like, in wrestling, Hulk Hogan had all the Hulkamaniacs, right? Back in the day, right? In the Survivor Series, which is the WWE pay-per-view around Thanksgiving time, they had a giant egg. And from the giant egg popped out a turkey called the Gobbledygooker. One of the worst characters in the history of fucking wrestling. Everyone hated the Gobbledygooker. Everyone thought this thing was fucking awful and lame and disappointing. They had been setting up the giant egg for weeks on TV. What's in the egg? What's in the egg? And then they get this fucking Gobbledygooker, right? It sucked. Yord, how does he have a horde? Yord Horde. What did Yord do to make you want to join his fucking horde? Because in my opinion, you've just become, you're in the Gobbledygooker fan club. Yord is the Gobbledygooker of fucking Jedi, whether you like it or not. Completely inconsequential, weak. And then ultimately, just fucking he's shitty. He gets killed within a second, breaks his neck. The guy didn't even need a lightsaber with Yord. All the bullshit at the beginning of the show, which is so confusing, and the bullshit at the beginning of the show where May had to kill Jedi without using a weapon, not only did I not understand it then, I really don't understand it now. Because outside of Yord, who he did break the neck with just a snap of that, the fucking Sith guy was using his lightsaber the entire time. He killed Jackie with a lightsaber. What the fuck was all that? You gotta kill Jedi without a weapon shit. The show contradicts everything it says. You wonder if people were even informed of what other people were doing on their own show. In other words, were the writers of episode 3 filled in to what was going on in episode 2 and episode 4? But the lightsaber shit was cool, I guess. The fucking OSHA, at some point, Kamir's about to kill everyone. OSHA lights her flashlight up to get the attention of bugs, and giant bugs come from the forest and pick up Kamir and bring him to their nest, I guess. We've just seen Kamir kill fucking 10 Jedi who all have the Force. You think he couldn't make short work of a fucking couple of bugs that just look like giant footballs? Giant flying footballs? You think Kamir couldn't go zip zap and make short work of those stupid fucking bugs? What are you kidding? So, by the way, so we have Saul, right, and OSHA, and they're talking to each other, and then here's May, and she shoots Saul with the stun gun, and it works! Doesn't work on Kamir because he's strong with the Force, but it works on Saul because he's strong with the Force. Oh, fuck. And if Saul turns out to be half Sith, half fucking Jedi, the way I am predicting, the way fucking, Kamir is, then that should have been a tell. They could have shot Khmer. If he's not going to get stunned by the fucking stun gun, then when May shoots Saul with the stun gun, he doesn't feel it either. And then we go, oh, wait a second. Maybe Saul's a bit of a Sith Lord. Maybe my Saul is a bit of a Sith Lord, Daddy. And let me tell you something, Daddy, from the top of the mountains to the bottom of the canyons. If you're a Sith Lord, then you're the master of darkness, Daddy. So, I thought that was odd. Because I believe that's where they're going. I believe Saul is definitely hooked into Khmer, and Saul's got the Force, and he's kind of a dark side, And he's kind of been hiding out in the Jedi Temple. That's what I believe. Oh my God. We got the line. They should have renamed this show, What Have You Done? Because after saying in episode 3, between Osha and May, this was actual dialogue, when Osha says to May, what have you done? And May said, what have you done? And Osha said, what have you done? That was the dialogue in episode 3. Don't ever forget. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? They paid a writer to copy and paste. What have you done? 3 fucking times in a row. Well, hold on. We got a 4th. Because Osha, finally, after May stuns Saul, and it's just Osha and May talking to each other, Osha then goes, what have you done? Why? Why do they keep saying that fucking sentence? And Osha, how stupid is it making you look now? What have you done? She fucking shot a goddamn Jedi because she's evil. Or maybe she isn't. Maybe she simply sees all these fucked up Force people, Jedi and Sith, are making things complicated, and we're just a couple of sisters. Let's get out of here. I told you before, I got more empathy for May. Osha, the good guy, comes across as a fucking piece of shit. Cold-hearted. May comes across as the good one. Maybe that's by design. By the way, Osha and May get into a fight. We then see May push Osha with the Force. They cut away. Something else. They cut back. Osha's on the ground unconscious. So now I am beginning to realize this is what's happening, folks. They hired people who don't know how to do action. And that's why we're not seeing the witches blow up when we should have. We're not seeing Kelnaka get killed when we should have. Like I said last week, you could have just shown us a pair of hands with a red lightsaber, and we could have had the first ever, first person kind of Star Wars video game. And we could have just had Khmer's fucking arms. It was fucking having a battle against Kelnaka. How cool would that have looked? And then Khmer finally kills Kelnaka. Why are we not seeing all these important deaths or fucking... I know Osha's not dead, but don't you show her slamming her head against the rock or something? It's terrible! Jesus Christ. Hey, Bob Iger. Bob, do you watch any of this shit? Are these action scenes good enough for you? When you do action scenes, you show all of it. And if someone goes unconscious, you gotta give the reason why. On one hand, she's just fucking being floated, but Osha's being floated away by May. Then she's unconscious. How? I'm assuming she hit her head on the rock or the cliff. But I don't know. You could have showed the witches blow up. You didn't have to show who set off the bomb. But still, big time moment, show the witches blow up. Could have seen Kelnaka get killed. Not just we fucking walk into his apartment and he looks like he's half drunk. Like fucking Snyder from One Day at a Time. Anyway, We get a bad fight. Oh, shit fucking does. And then finally the scene that everyone's making fun of. May gives herself a haircut. She uses the lightsaber. The most regal weapon in Star Wars. And I know. It doesn't. This is becoming too, Star Wars fanboyish. I get it. But it's not like they haven't set up the fact that a lightsaber is a very distinguished weapon. Civilized weapon from more civilized times. It's not a pair of fucking barber scissors. Jesus Christ. I'm surprised she didn't take a white lightsaber and a red lightsaber, put them together for, the old white and red barber pole look. Now that would have been, at least that would have been fucking hysterical to me. She actually made a fucking lightsaber barber pole, and then she chops her hair off. Then I'm like, well, you know what? Clearly all the people who are making the show are on drugs, but I'm with them. But no, they didn't even do something like that. So the haircut ends. May has now decided by giving herself a haircut and changing into OSHA's clothes, excuse me, May will trick Saul. So May is going to dress up like OSHA. By the way, she didn't fool Lil Basil. Lil Basil had Pip the droid. And so OSHA's scent was all over it. And when Lil Basil saw May there, he's like, that ain't fucking OSHA. I got the fucking Basil nose. I hate Basil. You'd think I'd like him. I don't know. But anyway, Basil figured it out. So your little fucking hamster figured it out, and not your Jedi! Saul is that easily tricked that you can give yourself a fucking haircut and put on different clothes and Saul doesn't feel the difference? Seriously, Saul, the Jedi, does not feel that this is a different human being standing in front of him. First of all, he now knows that the twins are both alive, okay? But he doesn't feel with the Force that this is someone different? Really? You know what that makes me do? It makes me hate Saul now! So I practically hate OSHA and May because they're just indecisive, fucking annoying characters. Now, I'm starting to fucking hate Saul. At least they killed Yord and Jackie, with all due respect. Because weak Jedi need to go. All right. Look. I told you, there were a lot of good things that I liked about the episode. That's the truth. This is not a hating episode of Yaddle Chattle. I liked the lightsaber stuff. I liked Kamir as the dark guy, the dark Sith Lord. That was really obvious, as he was the only one who could have been the guy in the mask. So that's why a lot of people were saying it can't be him. That's too obvious. Well, it turns out it was him. But there are too many issues. It does, I hate to say it, I do think there's potential with this show. And unfortunately, it feels like they got too many people who really don't know Star Wars. I'm sorry. And or I'm going to throw this out there, and this is worse. Maybe they do know Star Wars and they don't know how to write. They don't know how to tell stories. This is not a talented crew of people here. I'm sorry. When all these characters constantly contradict each other and themselves, that's not cool. That doesn't add mystery. It makes the audience go, what the fuck is happening? He just said it 5 minutes ago. Now he's saying something different, the total opposite? Or she, or whatever. That's the issue. I will say this. Probably, with all the frustrations that I had, it was probably the best episode. Maybe they should have started this fucking stupid-ass series with this episode. Because looking back on it, episodes 1 through 4 aren't going to do shit. They're not. Now that Yord and Jackie are dead, they were fucking soft, weak-ass Jedi. They're not even here anymore. We're gonna finish this fucking series and realize episodes 1 through 4 were a total waste. But 5, 6, 7, 8, all right. Look, it's not cool. As Star Wars fans, we can't, be okay with, hey, 50% of it is good. I mean, the other 50%'s really fucking shitty. But 50%'s good. We can't accept that. I guess that's the frustration. But I will say, Kathleen Kennedy, you've made this too complicated. You really have. You're hiring folks and you want them all to reinvent Star Wars. And you're missing the pulse of the fans. Right now, you guys, Disney, and modern day Lucasfilm, have done so much weird shit. I'll just keep it like that. Just nice, tame adjective. You've just done a lot of weird and questionable shit, killing off Luke Skywalker in Act 2 of a 3-act play. Give me a fucking break. Okay? The weird shit is starting to pile up. I think that's the issue. Between killing off Luke in Episode 8, between, in my opinion, the bait and switch, which was the Bad Batch, which should have been the A-Team or Saving Private Ryan, should have been battled, hardened men. Not Omega, who is a new reincarnation of Ezra, who is a new reincarnation of Ahsoka. So they're now telling the same character, the young kid / teenager who's the moral conscience of the show. We keep seeing that in all of the animation. So Luke's death, Bad Batch, and now this. Okay? I have been someone who has supported Disney Star Wars by and large. But we can't keep having now all these fucking weird-ass fucking decisions here. There has to be someone who can make the proper decisions, the big decisions. Please. I don't think that's Kathleen Kennedy. I guess she's never going to get fired from Lucasfilm, but maybe, I guess she hired Dave Filoni. Does anyone else think that she hired Dave Filoni so that she can axe Dave Filoni? Because if this Acolyte ends really shitty, talk about interesting timing. Kathleen Kennedy's not going to fucking take the heat. So what is she going to do? She could very well pass it off on Dave Filoni. Be like, well, this show really fucking sucks. I guess the fucking new creative president, that's his fault. Interesting timing. So Dave Filoni might be on a death watch here. We'll see. All right. That'll do it. Yaddle Chattle. Another episode. In the books. Look, I'm rooting for this show. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm rooting for it, I guess. See, the thing about this is that we need a movie. We need a movie. You know that? We need a good Star Wars movie. Maybe it's that I'm hitting the wall with the Disney Plus series. I don't know. I have to do some soul searching here. But I do plan on watching some Star Wars later. I think I'm going to go with The Empire Strikes Back or maybe A New Hope. That's episode 4. Came out in 1977. And when people got stunned, and they stayed stunned. When people got lightsaber fucking hits, and they stayed dead! Anyway, I want to thank you all. Thank Rebel Force Radio for the shout out. Love Jimmy and Jason. They're awesome. I'm sure you're listening to them already, but if you're not, go check them out and subscribe. They're the #1 show, Star Wars show in the galaxy. Although I told you, our rankings are all the way up to the 1,003rd most popular Star Wars podcast. So Yaddle Chattle, climbing the charts. I'm Darth David. I want all of you Star Wars fans to have a wonderful weekend. That's it. That's what I want for you. And we'll see you back here next week. Drop these episodes on Thursday or Friday. So be on the lookout. As for myself, Darth David, and you, this has been Yaddle Chattle. Good night, everybody! Is that over?